Liverpool rocked by shock twists on and off the pitch. Don't miss a second. Subscribe now for instant Reds updates, exclusives, and breaking alerts.
News headline: What Liverpool did in injury time was undignified as inexcusable fact emerges. The Paul Gorst verdict from Anfield as Liverpool are beaten 2-1 by Manchester City to suffer their 8th Premier League loss of the campaign. Perhaps the greatest indication yet that Anfield's famous fear factor has evaporated is that even Pep Guardiola can now celebrate a win here. After 10 years at Manchester City, the celebrated Catalan had only previously been able to boast a 4-1 triumph behind closed doors, slap bang in the middle of a campaign that has come to simply be known with no affection as the COVID season. Not now. The City boss can add this huge 2-1 victory to his catalog as his side came from behind to showcase their championship credentials and keep alive a title race that had, with just a few minutes to go here, looked as though it was all over bar the shouting. Arsenal will be kept honest, at least, after seeing their deficit reduced to 6 points with a visit to the Etihad still to come. But that is none of Arne Slot nor Liverpool's business this time out. And an 8th Premier League defeat of the campaign leaves them now facing an almighty struggle for a place in next season's Champions League. Just how has it all come to this? Their best route to the promised land of the European Cup next year might be to win the thing outright, because they don't look equipped to put together the sort of sequence needed to overhaul Chelsea and Manchester United, who both look rejuvenated under new management. Liverpool won't be following suit in that regard, and the Reds roundtable that was broadcast on official club channels this week with Slot, sporting director Richard Hughes, and CEO Billy Hogan offered enough hints to suggest that a change in the dugout is viewed as a ludicrous prospect inside the place itself. There is some merit in that, but while the club will be determined to give a title-winning coach ample opportunity to turn things around, the fact is the champions, who pretty much relinquished their crown before the Halloween decorations had even been put on display, are now 17 points behind Arsenal. That, however much support you harbor for the regime, is surely inexcusable. City did an expert job of smothering Liverpool first half, allowing them so little time on the ball, meaning they were forced to go long to get the likes of Cody Gakpo, Hugo Ekitike, and Mohamed Salah involved via more direct routes. Rodri and Bernardo Silva in particular excelled for the visitors, and on the rare occasion the Reds did break beyond the midfield reserves, the archetypal City yellow came into effect, with Nico O'Reilly taking a caution for hauling back Ryan Gravenberch. The decision to start with Gakpo, Ekitike, Salah, and Florian Wirtz was a bold one from Slot, but for all the creativity and firepower it boasted on the team sheet, the rest of the side found it difficult servicing them. Such was the difficulty in keeping possession, Liverpool's first-half pass accuracy stood at a paltry 43% compared to their visitors' 84%. An improved second half saw the Reds bring the requisite levels of intensity, but after Ekitike headed wide Salah's sublime cross, Wirtz was denied by a goal-saving Mark Guehi block. It was easy to see why Guehi was pursued by the powers that be at Anfield on the back of this performance. The new City signing might have played the role of pantomime villain, but his was a one-man defense at times, blocking shots, intercepting cutbacks, and generally ensuring the visitors were still alive as the game entered the final knockings. The free kick that gave Liverpool the lead was a piece of genius from Dominik Szoboszlai, but the reality of playing a Duracell bunny of a midfielder like the Hungary captain in defense came back to bite. First, it was Szoboszlai who played Bernardo Silva onside to profit from Haaland's knockdown on 84 minutes, before he was then sent off for a passage of play that, well, went beyond the farcical. After Haaland had made it 2-1 in stoppage time via the penalty spot, when the cumbersome Alisson Becker had fouled Mateus Nunes, City thought they had won it when substitute Ryan Cherki rolled it in from the halfway line with the Liverpool goalkeeper up for a corner. Szoboszlai's decision to drag back Haaland on the way to goal was eventually pulled back for a red card from the erratic Craig Pawson, who checked with the monitor, meaning Cherki's goal was chalked off, and the Reds were reduced to 10 men as we reached the 104th minute. With no other senior right back currently fit, it means the inexperienced Calvin Ramsey will now jockey for position with midfielders Wataru Endo or Curtis Jones for the spot against Sunderland on Wednesday night.
Joe Gomez's return cannot come soon enough, but Slot was not hopeful of that coming at the Stadium of Light. Does anyone have a number for Rob Jones? So the 3-1 was downgraded, but Holland's penalty was still another damaging goal conceded after 90 minutes. It's now 8 points that have been so carelessly frittered away in stoppage time, and City can add their name alongside Crystal Palace, Chelsea United, Leeds, Fulham, and Bournemouth. It's the difference between floundering in 6th and sitting comfortably in 3rd. It was the latest Liverpool had ever led in a game at Anfield and lost, summing up neatly just how poor Slot's side have become at seeing results out. The lack of game management has been appalling, and the sight of Alisson trying to win flick-ons to salvage a point was undignified. It's been an awfully long time since supporters of Manchester City were able to celebrate in the away end, and they made up for 23 years of lost time after the final whistle, as they marked a statement result that keeps alive their hopes for another title. For Liverpool, the painful reality is much different, and failure to qualify for the Champions League could set the project back years, given the fortunes on offer for a club bound by their self-sustainable model.
News headline: Szoboszlai, Joe Gomez, Frimpong, Liverpool injury and suspension latest ahead of Sunderland. Liverpool injury and suspension latest ahead of the Premier League match against Sunderland and after Dominik Szoboszlai's red card against Man City. Arne Slot is facing a selection crisis when Liverpool take on Sunderland on Wednesday night. The Reds make that trip to the Stadium of Light on the back of a 2-1 defeat to Manchester City. Dominik Szoboszlai's stunning free kick fired the Reds ahead, but City then kept themselves in the title race with goals in the final 6 minutes from Bernardo Silva and Erling Haaland's penalty. And the drama wasn't over there, as Szoboszlai was given his marching orders in stoppage time. That means the midfielder is now facing a spell on the sidelines due to suspension. So, with that in mind, we have rounded up the latest Liverpool and suspension and injury news ahead of the game against the Black Cats. Dominik Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai will serve a one-match ban in the Premier League when Liverpool make their journey to the Stadium of Light on Wednesday night. He will be able to return to the match day for the FA Cup game against Brighton and Hove Albion on Saturday. Possible return date, February 14th. Joe Gomez. Arne Slot said after the defeat to City that he doesn't expect Joe to return for their match on Wednesday night. He said, "To be honest, I don't expect Joe back for Wednesday, but you never know. Then he is back from being out for 3 weeks. Would you play him now? I have to make that decision. Let's see what decision we make. We have other players that can play that position as well." Possible return date, unknown. Jeremy Frimpong. Frimpong has been absent since pulling minutes into the Champions League game against Karabag due to a muscle injury. Slot doesn't believe he will be able to call on the Netherlands international on Wednesday night. "Jeremy for sure not," said the Reds boss. "We knew that when he got injured. It was a few weeks." Possible return date, unknown. Alexander Isak. Isak remains out as he recovers from surgery on an ankle injury that included a fractured fibula. Providing an update on the forward last month, Slot said, "He's not even on the pitch yet. I think it's called a walker. He's just out of his walker, so that tells you that he's not on the pitch, and not expecting him on the pitch today or tomorrow in terms of his recovery work. That's going to take a while before he's back, as we knew." Possible return date, before the end of the season. Giovanni Leone. The teenage center-back is not expected back until next season, after suffering a campaign-ending ACL injury on debut and undergoing surgery in September. Possible return date, next season. Connor Bradley. Bradley is also not expected to play again for Liverpool this season after suffering a knee injury in the draw with Arsenal last month and then undergoing surgery. Possible return date, next season. Stefan Bajček. Bajček is yet to play in the 2025-26 season due to injury. Speaking last month, Slot said he's not training yet, so he constantly gets close to the team and then he has a little setback, and then comes close and has a little setback. So we're hoping and expecting to have him very soon again. But at that moment of time he trains with us again, then he's been out for 6, 7, 8 months with no first-team training. So, as much as I'd like to have him back, we have to manage the expectations with him as well. Possible return date,
Unknown.
News headline: Liverpool face selection crisis for Sunderland after Arne Slot admission. Dominic Szoboszlai will miss the trip to Sunderland on Wednesday, and with no recognized right-back returning, gives Liverpool boss Arne Slot a problem. Arne Slot is facing a selection crisis at right-back after Dominic Szoboszlai was suspended for Liverpool's trip to Sunderland on Wednesday. The Hungary international will serve a one-match ban, having been sent off for preventing a goal-scoring opportunity when pulling back Erling Haaland during a bizarre ending to the Reds' painful 2-1 Premier League loss at home to Manchester City on Sunday afternoon. Szoboszlai, who opened the scoring with a brilliant free kick, was playing at right back with Joe Gomez, Jeremy Frimpong, and Connor Bradley all missing injured. And with Frimpong and Bradley already ruled out of the game at Sunderland, Slot has revealed he expects Joe Gomez, who sat out the last 3 games with a hip problem, to again be absent. "Jeremy for sure not," said the Reds boss. "We knew that when he got injured. It was a few weeks. To be honest, I don't expect Joe back for Wednesday, but you never know. Then he's back from being out for 3 weeks. Would you play him now? I have to make that decision. Let's see what decision we make. We have other players that can play that position as well. Dom played very well in that position again, but unfortunately he is unavailable for Wednesday." Wataru Endo played almost the full 90 minutes when replacing the injured Frimpong during the 6-0 Champions League romp against Qarabağ a fortnight ago. Calvin Ramsey, who has been on the bench in recent weeks, started the League Cup home loss to Crystal Palace in October, but has yet to feature in the Premier League almost 4 years after being signed from Aberdeen.
News headline: Liverpool's next 5 Premier League fixtures compared to top 4 rivals after Man City defeat. Liverpool failed to keep pace with their Champions League rivals after Manchester City snatched the win late on. Liverpool lost ground on the Champions League places after Manchester City scored twice late on to win 2-1. The reigning champions face an uphill task in qualifying for the top 4 as they sit 5 points off. The Reds' player of the season popped up with a moment of magic to hand Arne Slot's side a 1-0 win over their Premier League rivals. Dominic Szoboszlai drilled a superb free kick from long range, leaving Gianluigi Donnarumma rooted to the spot. Liverpool couldn't hold on to their lead, however, as Bernardo Silva reacted quickest from Erling Haaland's knockdown. The Portuguese ghosted beyond the Reds' backline and stabbed home past Alisson Becker. In stoppage time, the Brazilian shot-stopper clattered into Mateus Nunes in the penalty area, handing City the chance to win it at the death from the spot. Haaland stepped up and fired low into the bottom left. Ryan Shirky thought he had added a third late on after his effort from the halfway line trickled in, but the referee brought the goal back to send Szoboszlai off for denying a goal-scoring opportunity. After wins for Manchester United and Chelsea, the pressure was on the reigning Premier League champions to down Pep Guardiola's side in order to keep pace with the Red Devils and the Londoners. The defeat means they now sit 5 points off the top 4 and 4 points behind Liam Rosenyor's side. Should Liverpool's hopes of top 4 fade, they will hope that the top flight will be granted an extra place to qualify for the elite European competition. Liverpool, Sunderland away Feb 11, 8:15 p.m. Premier League. Nottingham Forest away Feb 21, 3 p.m. Premier League. West Ham home Feb 28, 3 p.m. Premier League. Wolves away March 3, 8:15 p.m. Premier League. Tottenham home March 15, 4:30 p.m. Premier League. Manchester United, West Ham away Feb 10, 8:15 p.m. Premier League. Everton away Feb 23, 8 p.m. Premier League. Crystal Palace home March 1, 2 p.m. Premier League. Newcastle away March 4, 8:15 p.m. Premier League. Aston Villa home March 15, 2 p.m. Premier League. Aston Villa, Brighton home Feb 11, 7:30 p.m. Premier League. Newcastle home Feb 14, 5:45 p.m. FA Cup. Leeds home Feb 21, 3 p.m. Premier League. Wolves away Feb 27, 8 p.m. Premier League. Chelsea home March 15, 7:30 p.m. Premier League. Manchester City, Fulham home Feb 11, 7:30 p.m. Premier League. Salford home Feb 14, 3 p.m. FA Cup. Newcastle home Feb 21, 12:30 p.m. Premier League. Leeds United away Feb 28, 5:30 p.m. Premier League. Nottingham Forest home March 4, 7:30 p.m. Premier League. Chelsea, Leeds home Feb 10, 7:30 p.m. Premier League. Hull City away Feb 13, 7:45 p.m. FA Cup. Burnley, home, Feb 21, 3 p.m., Premier League. Arsenal, away, March 1, 4:30 p.m., Premier League. Aston Villa, away, March 4, 7:30 p.m., Premier League.
News headline: Jamie Carragher raises doubts over Liverpool's Champions League chances as questions raised. Liverpool find themselves in a battle for Champions League qualification, but face an uphill task after defeat to Manchester City. Jamie Carragher has raised doubts about Liverpool's credentials for Champions League qualification. The Reds icon believes they have a long road ahead after conceding a fourth stoppage-time goal of the season in their 2-1 defeat to Manchester City. Dominik Szoboszlai's wonder goal gave Liverpool a lead, but 2 goals in the dying embers from Pep Guardiola's side was enough to down the champions and damage their Champions League hopes in the process. Defeat leaves Liverpool 5 points behind Manchester United and 4 off Chelsea too. The only potential saving grace for Arne Slot's team is that England sit top in the coefficient rankings, which will open up a route to the elite European competition by finishing in 5th place. However, Carragher feels the lack of balance and control with Liverpool's play will be detrimental. Speaking on Sky Sports, the footballer-turned-pundit said, "I think Man City were by far the better team in the first half. I think Liverpool had a spell in the second half, for probably 20 to 25 minutes where they looked like they had Man City on the rack. I don't think Liverpool deserved to win. Maybe you could argue a draw would have been maybe a fair result. Big mistakes again. That's the 4th time now this season they've conceded a 90th minute winner. So it's not a one-off. It happens all the time. I'd be interested to see what the manager says, but the manager's taken a lot of criticism from Liverpool supporters this season, and some of it warranted. Follow our LFC Facebook page. All the latest news and analysis from Anfield on the Liverpool Echo's dedicated LFC Facebook page. If you notice, we're in the 3rd stage of Liverpool this season. So the start of the season, Liverpool games were all like that, and it was end to end. They were being very lucky, and you're winning in the last minute. Then they had the thing where the manager thought, this has to stop. They were in a spell of losing 9 games in 12, and then he went more defensive, more pragmatic. Then the Salah thing blows up. Then Liverpool start getting results, not winning a lot of games, but not losing too many. But it's boring. You're coming to Anfield and no one's getting excited, so there's criticism on the back of that. Now we've come back sort of the last few weeks, let's say since Mo Salah's come back from the African Cup of Nations, Liverpool have played a front 4, and that was my worry today. Liverpool came from behind to beat Newcastle United in the Premier League last weekend, but were far from convincing in their first half display against the title challengers on Sunday. Hugo Ekitike missed a gilt-edged chance in the second half before Szoboszlai's long-range free kick. Late on, Gianluigi Donnarumma also made a superb save to deny Alexis McAllister. However, Carragher raised concerns about the lack of control with Liverpool's play. He added, "Now that was a great game. If you're at home as a neutral, you would have thought what a game that was. But you see the same against Newcastle, you see the same against Bournemouth away. Great for the neutral, lost 2 out of 3. So the manager is going to have a decision to make again, and I'm not just talking about Mo Salah, but I'm talking about a front 4. I thought today the way to go probably would have been I'm not just saying this after the event, I said this before the game, but maybe put them Florian Wirtz to the left, maybe playing Curtis Jones. I think if Liverpool continue the way they are with a front 4 and games end to end, I don't see how they can make the Champions League positions at all. But no matter what he does, the makeup of this squad, the balance of the team and the squad is not right. It never looks stable. They never look in control. Even if the game's exciting, you never feel in control. Even when the game is slow and pragmatic, then it never feels like you're fully in control. There's a long road ahead for Liverpool to make the Champions League.